Hello, my name is Deb Martine. I am here with the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, Fort Myers and Cape Coral, and we have four excellent panelists today to speak with us about plant-based health solutions. My name is Deb Martine. I am with Lotus Blossom Clinic, and we are a holistic wellness and event center here serving Southwest Fort Myers, and we also have online capabilities to work with you and have videos in various venues, and we'll speak more about that as we go. But today, I just wanted to say, once again, welcome to this great group of people who have joined us today to share pearls of wisdom from their many years of working with food-based protocols. I also want to state that none of us here are MDs. Many of us do work with doctors and other licensed professionals who do help people in the healing arenas. And otherwise, you know, we also have fun with this. It's just so fun to learn about the foods. This is ancient medicine. And oftentimes it works in conjunction with another program that may be going on with an MD as well. But certainly use all the tools that you have as appropriate for you. So I want to say welcome first to Lainey Savante Wilkin. I'm going to start down there and wind our way back around. Lainey is the creator of the Food Healing Oracle deck in conjunction with Joanna Salerno. And she's also Intuitive Wisdom Records. And there are a number of recordings from primarily local personnel here in the Fort Myers, Cape Coral area. Amazing meditations with our newest one that just came out. And maybe you'll say something about that, Ms. Lainey. And she's also our Holistic Chamber of Commerce president. And she and I have created these series of panels to share with the community. We've had a very strong year, this 2020 year. We ramped up during the pandemic when everyone was pretty much on lockdown here in the area. And we gave 10 weeks in a row of free events, all kinds of rich topics. So this is our last one for the year, and you are all here sharing it with us. So welcome to you in the audience. And one last thing to say to you in the audience, you can communicate with us directly via the comments section if you're on the Facebook page for Fort Myers Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And so, Lainey, would you say a little bit more about you and what you're up to?
You know, I would love to, but I think there's a loud noise behind me. Can you hear it? A bunch of music? Maybe I'll wait to reintroduce myself at the end when the music passes. It's a neighbor. Go ahead. Okay. I will come back because I don't want to distort you with this music. It's distracting even myself.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, next to Lainey is Jeff Berger. And Jeff is a wellness partner with Amari Global. He is also a certified health and integrative wellness coach. And Jeffrey, you have done so much on the chamber here as well. You're the membership here with us in Fort Myers and Cape Coral. So thank you for all that you do as well.
Thanks,
so Jeff,
Deb.
a little more. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. First, I really have to thank the Holistic Chamber of Commerce because it was in June of 2018 when I was introduced to this amazing group, and my eyes were really opened to things that I never, ever came across or realized because of following my opinion, and in my opinion, a broken Western medicine system. So yes, I'm passionate about holistic health today because my path a couple of years ago was actually not a good one. And I'm blessed to include my certification as a holistic or a health and integrative wellness coach to my business, being a wellness partner with Amari Global, which is the first holistic mental wellness company that focuses on the microbiome, which we'll be talking about today, because I truly believe mental wellness is the new physical health today. And I'd like to mention that the information I'm going to be sharing today comes from a platform of programs that includes our unique holistic supplementation line that's science-backed, clinically trialed, plant-based, vegan-friendly, and award-winning to those individuals who are looking for a healthier, gut-brain axis lifestyle. So thank you very much. And as I always say, hashtag poop matters. Thank you.
I knew that was coming.
I didn't know he still used that. That's great. My noise has passed if you want me to pop in just real quick and say hi.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Lainey Savante-Wilkin, President of Holistic Chamber, and it's been a really wonderful time. I have to say this is my last panel because I'm retiring, being the president, because of the Food Healing Oracle deck really taking center stage in my life with Joanna Salerno. I come from decades of food healing experience. I have a degree in food science and dietetics. I'm an author. I worked for a top chef in Hollywood who was the premier vegan and vegetarian chef for many years. I also have a advanced food healing certification from Jeff Primack, and I've been a foodie my whole life, as well as a food oracle and an intuitive. So really bridging those worlds together. I have a lot to share today, and I'm excited to be here with my esteemed colleagues. We have a lot to enlighten you on.
Good.
All right.
Great, thank you, Lainey.
Yeah.
Yes, you can hear the plethora of knowledge and experience that's coming into this, even just in our first two people. Now let's move on to Linda Baltus. Linda, you've been with Juice Plus a while now, and you have seen so many wonderful things for people in their health with this product. I know it's helped you as well, and you have been an advocate and an assistant to many people. So tell us a little bit more about you.
Thank you, Deb. I want to first say thank you for allowing me to be here. I feel humbled and just proud and pleased to be here with the rest of you. I am but I am a wife and a mom and a grandma, and I found this product 10 years ago as a way to help not just myself, but my family as an easy button. And I've just loved the company and loved the community that I've gotten to be with, and the fact that I get to be on this panel today with everybody is making me feel just great, and I'm thankful to be here.
Awesome. Welcome, Linda. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ms. Vicki Gilardi, we have so much to say about you too as well. You're a medicinal foods consultant, and you too have training certification from Jeff Primack in the Conquering Any Disease Food Healing Protocol. And there you are working in conjunction with Dr. David Martine at Lotus Blossom Clinic. So tell us a little bit more about you. Some of the early things from your getting into this realm would be good for us to hear from you as well.
Yeah. Well, originally, I'm doing this for decades and decades. I came from a family that ate all natural foods, organic foods, so this all came natural to me. I started working with children in New York with learning challenges, autism, on the autism spectrum, etc., and found how their behavior and learning changed when the proper food was brought into the home. And I eventually formed an organization, the Feingold Association, which is all over the country. And I was the founder of it. And along with that, I helped change the New York City school system, the lunch program. And I got natural foods put in many of the programs where children, are involved. And pediatricians, etc., saw a lot of differences in how these children were. It went on to the biggest issue, I think, was in the labeling. It was not transparent, so we didn't know what was in the food. Mm-hmm. As a result, I saw myself in front of the Senate committee in Washington to testify on proper labeling. And as a result, it was a lot of hard work. I was on Geraldo Rivera several times. He gave us wonderful press. And as a result, the products today are better than they were then. They're still deceptive, but they're a lot better than they were. So I once came to Fort Myers years ago, and I have a lot of knowledge in food consulting, a lot of little courses I've taken, etc. But then I found myself at Lotus Blossom Clinic about 7 years ago, and that's where I am now. I work with Dr. David and in food healing and acupuncture, and we've seen a lot of success, and I love what I do. It comes very natural to me. So, and I'm happy to be here today.
Great. Welcome, Vicki. Okay, well, let's dive into this at a really cool level. Many people have this question, and I'm going to start with Lainey, and then the rest of you can chime in a little bit if you have something to add. But Lainey, you know, the whole foods, plant-based, vegan, all this terminology, what's the difference between all of this?
Well, I think that is, like everything else, confusing, and I also think it's semantics. I think that people are using those words interchangeably, but there's subtle differences. I think vegan, out of all of them, are a little bit more strict, right? Zero animal products. There is not even, on some levels of your veganism, there's no honey. In fact, we had honey in the deck, and somebody brought it to our attention that it doesn't make it 100% vegan. And I had to think about it for a second, and Joanna and I agreed, like, we'll take it out and replace it, even though some people, vegans, do. But essentially, there's no animal products. Where plant-based is mostly plant sources. And then there's whole food eating, which I think primarily these are all eating vegetables and eating fruits. And whole foods, I'm a whole food eater. And to me, that's minimal processing of anything. You're really you're eating the apple, or you're eating, if you're not vegan, a piece of chicken. This conversation today is plant-based. So we're really looking at foods that are plant sources. My mom, I grew up in a very natural hippie household, and my mom always held the notion, more than 3, leave it be, when we're looking at labels. And it was really about eating clean, no matter what it was. And it wasn't looking at something that was this long. So Whole Foods look at that. So you do see some processing in veganism. So today, this is a plant-based conversation, but those words sometimes are interchangeable. But for those who aren't aware, there are some subtle differences when we're talking about consumption of animal products.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really a cool, keen and cool concept to understand. A lot of people don't know the difference between vegan and vegetarian. And really it is the things like the honey and no animal products of any kind, including milk. So yeah, those are the differences. Now, what kinds of, I want to go back to Vicki here. What kinds of health issues have you seen most to improve using food?
Well, over decades, there have been many health issues, some that are uncommon, but the most common ones are diabetes, inflammation, gut issues, IBS, cancer is a big one, and rheumatoid arthritis. I've seen quite a bit of that, even in like 25-year-olds, which is very concerning. It's definitely the food. The most dramatic changes that I've seen is in the diabetic. It's a clear, cut and dry protocol. They follow a specific diet and there is results. Whereas with some of the other diseases, it might take a little longer and a little more work. But I had one client who came to me, 54 years old, with a blood sugar of 399, and your glucose level should be about 100 or so. So 399 is in the danger zone, and his doctor says, I can't help you. I don't know what to do for you. So he came to me, and I put him on a very strict diet. And when I handed him the diet, he looked at it. He says, "Are you kidding me?" I says, "Do you want to live?" And he says, "Yes." I says, "Do this for a week and let's see where we are." Well, 4 days later, he called me and he says, "My blood sugar is 121. He says, "You saved my life." I says, "I didn't save it. You saved it by what you do." by being diligent, and doing everything that I recommended that he do. So as time went on, his blood sugar really, he was on insulin, he was on metformin, and about 3 or 4 different other drugs. As time went on and the blood sugar dropped even more, like down to 77, I told him, call your doctor. Your doctor's going to want to adjust medication. And that's exactly what happened. And I haven't seen him at the clinic for a couple of years, but I keep in touch with him. I always keep in touch with my clients, whether text, phone, email, whatever. And he has it managed. He's off the insulin. He's off the diabetic drugs. And he manages it. He has his 1 martini on the weekend and a roll. And he's happy. And the sugar goes up. On Monday, but then he knows how to manage it the rest of the week. So that's what you get when you work with someone who's compliant and really wants to improve their health. And I spent hours with this man, as long as it took, in recommending foods that he could have and telling him what he cannot have ever, because he has type 2 diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the most dramatic. You see it right away. All diabetics, mostly all, okay, 99% of them, you see results right away once they follow the protocol.
Yeah, and what's cool is that you're working together with Dr. David, so you
Yes.
can spend the time.
Mhm.
Dr. David and you do a mutual intake, as do I if I'm working with someone. I'm also certified under the Jeff Primack protocol. So we meet with the patient, Dr. David's patients. We meet with him, with them, and then the decision is made. Dr. David saying, well, you need to be going on.
Right.
These are my recommended my suggestions, my guidelines for you. You can talk with Vicki some more. She'll help you understand what these foods are that may work for you and work with you to arrange some of them a bit more.
Yeah. One more note. Oh, I'm sorry. One more note. I am certified in the Jeff Primack food healing system, but that was 7 years ago. I've had experience from decades, okay, with various just experiences and classes and courses on that enlightened me more into the food healing. And before I even got to Lotus Blossom, I was recommending no dairy, no wheat, no sugar. So, it just, but that program that Jeff Primack put out just culminated in everything else that I was taught. So,
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Vicki. When you were talking about diabetes, I want to move over to Jeffrey, because Jeff, I really want you to give us some insights into your journey, as well as the epicenter of so much healing that you know about and you can explain well. Oh, Jeffrey.
Well, thank you, Deb. And Vicki, you all set?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
We can now.
Okay. So I totally relate. Okay, I totally relate with Vicki in regards to I went to my doctor after I got informed and did some deep dives and took a sugar course through a Holistic Chamber member, and really understanding the significance of sugar and coming across articles about reversing type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
Which I never knew. I thought I had to live with it. And I went to my doctor and said, I want to get my A1C down to 5.0. And her response was, well, why do you want to do that? So that just really opened up the barn doors, and which really got me into understanding about the microbiome, which is the gut-brain axis health, and understanding the importance of the foods that we're putting in our mouth. Because over the years, unfortunately, the foods that are being developed have chemical preservatives in them, and glyphosate is a huge contributing factor to a lot of the mental illnesses that are going on and a lot of the gastrointestinal diseases, because this is a chemical that was patented back in 1974 as an antibiotic, and it's injected into the genes of corn and soy. And over the last decades, we have been consuming this, and this is now coming out into not mainstream media, but you have to search for this, and it's becoming recognizable. So as you know, we talk about the labels on our foods, and you know, if it's, you know, like this long, then get away from it, because what they're doing is, and this was not even going to be my question thing, but in any event, they're getting smart in changing these names and renaming these chemicals and these components to disguise them, to look that they're healthier, when in actuality they are not. And you know, I just want to say that those of us on this panel, along with other I'm going to say holistic health enthusiasts, we're really being proactive in getting the word out to people, to educating them the importance of their, you know, their of their body. And I just want to share this, because this is something that I share in my free Saturday workshops, Take a Mind Break. You know, we're in this amazing body temple, and it consists of microorganisms, viruses, and human cells. They all create their own unique chemicals to live synergistically together. On top of that, each of the organs we have, they play beautiful little tunes with the systems. When they're all working together, it's a big symphony. But when you start introducing foods that have chemical preservatives and pharmaceuticals, that starts the disruption. And I want to do a caveat here. I'm not totally against Western medicine, because when I'm passing kidney stones, I'm the first to say, give me that painkiller. I wanted this pain to go away. So, but in anything, is that we need to get to the root of the cause. And I think that this is all of us on this panel, and those who have like-minded thinking are along that thinking. We want to help people understand the importance of plants and our fruits and vegetables, because it is so important to physical as well as mental health. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And I want to take it over to Linda to talk about the whole concept of these plant-based supplements that you've got. So Linda, tell us a little bit more. What sets Juice Plus apart from other products that are out there?
Well, you know, there are so many things I could talk about. Much like Jeff, I totally agree that what we're putting in our body makes all the difference in what we're doing. And we all need to eat raw, fresh fruits and vegetables. The recommended amount these days is 7 to 13. And they've brought that up from the 5 to 9 it used to be years ago. And of course, not only have they raised the amount, but the produce that we're eating isn't always in the best condition when we get it. It's been in a truck for 2,000 miles, gets shipped, it's getting into a grocery store. So it's really important to make sure that what you're putting in your body is good and right. And so one of the things that I love about Juice Plus that sets us apart, I think, is the food label, that we have a nutrition label on it. It's a nutrition label, not a vitamin label. We have a seal on our bottles also, that's an NSF seal. That's just telling us that what they say is in it and nothing else. So it's really fruits and vegetables. And much like Jeff was saying, again, with this body being in perfect harmony, everything that goes into our body has an address that it's going to go to. And it's not that Juice Plus is going to cure anything, but it is going somewhere in your body to help you heal issues that you have going on. Fruits and vegetables are a magical flora of ingredients that can do that. And so it's just a combination of food, whole food, not a vitamin. Also, I think there's some pride in our company and Juice Plus with the farmers. We have American farmers that grow our products in their fields. They're proud of what they're doing, and they know what's going into it, much like we want to know where our food's coming from. And I think that's a really important part, that we know our farmers. Their seeds are non-GMO. So medical professionals endorse us. We have a Kids Eat Free program, which I'll talk about later, but there's just a plethora of things that set us apart, that we are just food. And I think that makes it a pretty wholesome product.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now you bring up the point of the farmers, and that just takes me to a place here, and maybe Lainey has something to add to this. When we talk about, and I know Jeff does, so when we talk about the soils and what's been going on. There's organic, there's the label organic, and then there's a new labeling, I think, that's starting to come out, and it's not government sponsored. I cannot recall the name of it, but it is more based on increasing the nutrition capabilities of growing the foods. So it's kind of like when Jeff is talking about, let's put the good stuff into our gut. We're doing the same thing into the soils now. Does anybody know the name of that way of growing? Okay. It's out there. I've read an article about it in Natural Awakenings, one of our sponsors, by the way. And so this is something that is a trend that's recognizing the need to have more of those nutrients in our foods. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
if I could, what they're doing today is called monocropping, and they're growing the same things year after year after year. That's what's wrong. And I don't know, I'll have to look it up, but I don't know the new name, but that's great. So go ahead, Lainey. I think you started to talk. Because I was going to talk
just
about
think
the
it's
farm.
important about the soil in general. I mean, it's a good topic to bring up, especially when you're growing your own foods and having the right pH level and having the right acidity. People, oh, acidity, but you need acidity for the certain foods to grow, particularly the fruits and vegetables. So I'm a big advocate of homegrown farming and creating what you can naturally and organically and using your own compost system and creating those foods. And I'm a big follower of the Anastasia books from back in the day that were really popular in talking about putting your own saliva into your soil. So then you're actually creating that energetic DNA right into the birthing of these fruits and vegetables and herbs and spices that are metabolically more incompatible with your body. So I'm a huge fan of all that. So when you talk soil, like that lights me up because that's really important for people to realize. Just when we're getting a blackberry from another country, how it's grown there may not be in alignment with who we are or where we are now. If we could do it right here and take control of our soils, that's a really good thing.
You know, I also think sometimes, Lainey, they talk about organic and non-organic, and if it's growing out in a field, they can say organic, and it can be as protected and safe as possible, but it's in the air. And so sometimes when they're saying organic, I struggle with, well, if it was grown, like I have a hydroponic, aeroponic gardening system that I can grow with, and I know exactly where it is and what it's done. If it's growing outside in a farmer's field, even if they say organic, sometimes we don't know what the air quality is around it and where it's coming in. And I think that's an important factor as well.
Yeah.
And the flavor of the homegrown. We grew our own vegetables and fruits, and we had horses, and we had plenty of fertilizer, and we had ladybugs to eat the aphids, and bottles of beer on the ground, so the slugs would go in the beer and get drunk and die and wouldn't eat the leaves of the plants. So yes, and the flavor of the fruits and vegetables, they're so much different.
Non-comparison. I live on a farm where there's mangoes and lychees and mulberries, avocados, and it's hard when someone wants to get something, have me eat something from the store that, how long did it take to ship there?
Right.
How long was it cultivated sitting before it even got shipped into the packaging to get on the truck, to get into on the store? So, that's why farmers markets and homegrown, all of these, are very important because we don't want those pesticides in our body. Our body is doing so much work as it is. We don't want to have to take the time to break all that down because it's hard to break down and causes dis-ease. So the cleaner, the better. See, you got us on a tangent about soil, Deb. And
I know.
It's an important subject.
Yeah.
I've been really talking about soil so much in the past 2 weeks. It's ironic that we're talking about it again today.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And there's
We do know that.
Go ahead, Jeff.
The soil does have a microbiome as well. So that's what you're talking about with all of the nutrients and necessary elements in order for our plants to grow really well. And what Linda's talking about in regards to, what's the air, what's in the ground. And I just want to, since we're talking about soil, there's a great, and if people want to know, I'll put it in the chat box, but there's a video out there in regards, they're saying that we've got 60 years left of farming because our soil is being degraded because of this monocropping. And they're shutting down more and more organic farms and going with the mainstream through Monsanto with their seeds and stuff. And that's been an ongoing thing. And those are the GMO seeds. But those of us are out there really promoting this, but it's so important that we get the nutrients, because supplementation, unfortunately, we have to do supplementation because that's where you're going to get the strongest nutrients, because we're not getting them from the farmlands as they did years ago.
Right. That's where Linda's product comes into play and helps you get those more dense nutrition components in your diet on a daily basis. That's part of the trouble too. You know, even someone who eats healthy may not be eating enough.
Well, the variety doesn't always come into play, I think. You know, people tend to eat the 2 to 3 to 4 maybe that they like, and they'll eat those repeatedly day after day. And it really is important for our bodies to get a wide variety and lots of rainbow color, rich color. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle, because when I talk to my clients, I'll ask them, you know, we go over a little protocol of what they're eating and how they're eating. And, oh yeah, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, but what do they eat?
What and how many? And most will admittedly say 2 to 4, and it's apples, oranges, bananas. They don't eat the unique different ones. And I think that's another way that I love about Juice Plus, that we can supplement it with 30 different fruits, vegetables, and berries every single day, which is important.
Because of the lack of minerals in soil, I've been recommending that my clients put the black sesame seed in their smoothies. Very high in calcium, like 4 times the amount of calcium than in milk. So I try to find whole foods that they can put in their smoothie, so it's micronized and they can get a lot of it in there, and therefore, you know, help with this, you know, replacing the minerals that, you know, that they're not getting in the soil.
Right. And that's a great way too, to micronize it so that it's highly absorbable.
Yeah.
Yes, you can really control what goes in once you begin understanding the foods. And I want to move back over to Lainey for a moment, because the Food Healing Oracle deck is strictly, as you mentioned, plant-based at this point in time. So tell us a little bit more about that.
It's interesting, and I'm smiling because I'm realizing that Linda and Jeff and Deb, you've all gone through our certification program. So I just want to show what it is to people who have. Oh, look at you, special! Oh my gosh, we're all part of the club. So let me give you a little bit of background. Oh, thank you, Deb. It's a party. All of you here, we're all talking about the physical aspects, and I know Jeff is really focused around also the mental health aspects. And we know that food plays a huge part on all aspects. And so Joanna and I come from a long history of food background, right, on the physical and the nutrition levels and eating organic and all that. But we also come from the intuitive and the spiritual and the energy healing aspects to who we are. So this deck has really married the fact that we need to look at food from an emotional, mental, and a physical and a spiritual. We call it EMPS wellness, because all those 4 bodies need to work together. We all are working with people who have need to eat foods for the moods, right? To help us with depression, to help us with anxiety. And is it because we're eating something that's not processing in the gut, right? So that's Jeff's area. So we created this deck that is a wonderful book that, yes, you get all the physical nutrition components. We give you what 60 fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices can offer you. But we also provide you the messaging of why you're choosing that food, or why you should choose that food. Or like Linda said, the colors of the rainbow, or how that affects your chakras. All of it's all interrelated. And how all of this, if we're talking about soil, we're talking about Mother Nature. This is Mother Nature's love note to us, to look at the foods on the trees and the plants and the bushes. And what does it mean when you, what does a mulberry mean? What does it mean to pick raw garlic? And what are all these things mean for us? And so this has been an extraordinary program. And why is it vegan? is because we wanted it to be for everybody. We wanted it to be for anybody who eats fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices, no matter what your diet, pescatarian, if you're a carnivore, no matter what it is, you need to have at least 50% of your rainbow vegetables going. And so why not have them and have them understood for you what they're trying to say? Because if foods can talk, wouldn't you want to know what they're saying? You're putting them in your body all day long, and which ones are going to lower your glucose levels? Which ones are going to fight heart disease? We're advocating and indicating all of that. And so people like you who are consultants and coaches and really know your acumen in the food world are utilizing this in your businesses to help give people a greater understanding of what mango means, why you should have it, and why someone shouldn't have it. So we made it plant-based on purpose so that anybody can use this. And there was nobody who felt excluded, because we're a oneness sort of team here, and we want to include everybody to get this wisdom. It's so important. And we're seeing, we've created not only the deck, which I love it, but we also created a certification program. We've already, in just a few months, I've already had 40 people around the world go through it. We have another one in January. But here we thought originally it would be the spiritual tarot readers, and it's been anything. We have those, but we've really seen people like you who are experts as coaches, as Reiki masters, as nutritionists, as personal trainers. And so we have kind of mainstream people who really want to understand, wow, there's a whole intuitive level to food. And then the intuitives want to know, oh, what's the nutrition meaning of this? So the worlds are combining, and it's just wonderful seeing who's coming through, like you all, to the certification to make a difference to your clients. So it's just really thrilling. So yeah, that's the long and short of it, of the deck, and why it's vegan, because we wanted it to appeal to everyone, so everyone get the spiritual wisdom you might have not known when you're looking at your cashews or you're looking at your pomegranates and such. It's exciting times.
And you know, Lainey, what I absolutely know is happening when someone gets those cards. They're looking at them. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful cards. They're fun. And the readings have information. People are always interested about something that's affecting them directly. And then when they pull the card for blueberries, clarity, for example, they may not have thought of blueberries so much before, might not have been in their life. And now here it is, and they get to read about it. So yeah. I bet that their colors, their rainbow of colors that they're using in their daily lives is increasing. Yeah. So that in and of itself, the awareness, the usage, you're helping on the physical level, and you're bringing them to think more about their lives with it. So beautiful work. I mean, and it's all over the world. Romania, I believe you said, even.
Yeah, somebody bought yesterday from Denmark, and we're up to probably like 10 or 12 countries now, from Australia to Canada to Europe and Asia. South Africa's now, and people are asking to do the certifications in other languages. It's really, it's lighting a fire where it needs to be, and that is wisdom of what we're putting in our bodies in a new way that's modern. What I learned 30 years ago, 30 plus, getting a degree in food science, is quite different than what they're telling you today, right? Remember the food pyramids? What the food pyramids are saying, they never really taught you, and actually that's in our marketing. Nutrition for the body, they never taught you that it's also food for the soul. And what does that really mean? So we are bringing that awareness to people now.
Beautiful.
And I can speak to that in that the intuitive part of the Food Healing Oracle deck was nothing that I even thought of. I signed up originally because I loved the look of the food, and I knew somehow it would play into my business. I didn't know exactly how, but the cards are so beautiful. People looking at them makes them realize all this different color, all these different things they have never put into their bodies, and the health and wellness that comes from all the variety. And I just am in love with the deck. It's awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, Deb,
yes, Jeff.
If I could jump in, because Lainey said if foods could talk. And in essence, they really are, because where we are today in science is really coming up with some amazing research and clinical studies. And this kind of leads into, if it's okay with you, what are some examples of plant-based protocols used for mental wellness? When we talk about stress, anxiety, depression, it's really associated with mental illness. And today people associate this with anti-anxiety medications like Prozac and Zoloft, so forth and so on, the SSRIs. But today what we're doing is we're really taking the I out of illness and replacing with a we for wellness. And it's all about managing wellness and getting to the root of it. And just to give a couple of examples representing Amari Global, we have a comprehensive blend of research-backed premium herbs for anxiety, for mood, for depression. And this is not in the mainstream because people are looking. For example, Zembrin is commonly known as canna, and it's grown in South America. And it's a succulent plant like, it's like aloe, the aloe plant, the thick leaves. And this particular plant basically elevates mood and mental clarity, lowers stress hormone levels, and decreases everyday feelings of anxiousness. Ashwagandha, it's an Indian ginseng used in Ayurvedic medicine. We talked earlier about Chinese medicine, ancient medicine, and this promotes healthier mental cognition, energy levels, and stress management. And then some of the typical things, and we get this through the Food Healing Oracle deck. There's rosemary, which is a common medicinal use for improving memory. And then we've got the oregano, which is pretty standard. It's a free radical fighting antioxidants. And sage, for brain function, reduces inflammation. So these plants are talking more to us now. We're discovering this through science, and with Linda's products, with food-based, with our products, which actually focus on the gut and the brain, making that connection, they're talking to each other. And, when I talk to people, it's like, would you like to decrease your feelings of anger by 42%? Or how about decreasing your feelings, in sadness by 20%, or reducing stress by 70%? All of this can be done with plants, and I talk to people, would you rather address your mental wellness with pharmaceuticals or with plants? That's the question.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. And Jeffrey, I've got a comment here from someone. I just noticed that, I'll show it. I just noticed that we hadn't been looking at that. So hi, everybody who's out there listening. Welcome again. Evelyn Rivera Willoughby says, I've been a pescatarian for over 40 years. My recent levels show high cholesterol, 214, LDL 140 from hyperparathyroidism. Was prescribed simvastatin, 10 milligrams daily. I'm so happy with Jeffrey's plan on microbiome for 4 months, feeling greater and energetic. Suggestions for foods to lower are welcomed. I do yoga and exercise daily. Thanks. So I'm going to hand that over to Vicki first. What would be a couple of foods she could consider?
Well, what she could consider is for the hypothyroid, did we say? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have to stay away from the cruciferous vegetables. Unfortunately, the Brussels sprouts and the cauliflower, the broccoli, cabbage, there's a whole list of them. You can Google and find out what the list is. They have goitrogens in it, which slow down the thyroid even more. Now, if you want to eat some of these vegetables from time to time, and they're all really so healthy, okay, you'd cook them well. Don't eat them raw, because that will only add to the issue of hypothyroidism. Did I take note that you were on a medication for
Yes.
this? Okay. There's also natural thyroid medication that you might want to look into. There's Armathyroid, and there's a few others. So if you want to go that route, you can look at that as well.
Very good. Thanks, Vicki.
And the cholesterol I really don't get excited about. 214 is not that bad. So, I don't cut out foods, to lower cholesterol.
Well, there is a difference with what is the commonly accepted level now. It seems to change periodically. And we also have to remember that everyone is really an individual.
Right.
So some of those ranges, there's various reasons that they may be moving, and it may not be appropriate for you. You know, your body is going to tell you.
And there are foods that will lower cholesterol. You know, if you have some eggplant and there's mushrooms, you know, they'll lower the cholesterol. You know, we have a whole bunch of information on that. If you want to contact me, I'm happy to talk to you about it.
Okay, okay. And let's see if there's anybody else. Jeffrey, this one again is for you. Evelyn is asking, can you share the video, whatever video, the video you mentioned? She watched What the Health on Netflix. Was there another one that she should be looking at?
I will share the video in the Holistic Chamber of Fort Myers where this is streaming live. I'll share that in the link.
Right.
Yeah.
We're all going to go there afterwards and put something about ourselves and how to contact us. So that is a continuing good place to look even for the next 20 or 30 minutes after we finish, and maybe even a few days, because people will come along and watch this later. Okay.
And let me just note, we're also on our HCC SWFL YouTube channel. There's many people out there who may not be on Facebook. That's fine. I know people who've left it recently. Everyone has their own opinion. But you can go to our YouTube and share the same exact channel there, just for those people who are not here on Facebook.
Okay, cool. I want to move over to Linda for a second about the clinical research for Juice Plus.
Yeah, thank you. We have been doing research on the product in human beings for 30 plus years, and just some of the things that it shows is it supports healthy gums, healthy skin. It gets absorbed into your body, delivers key antioxidants and phytonutrients, reduces oxidative stress, biomarkers of systemic inflammation, protects our DNA. You know, the research is, we've got books of it, and if you want to take the time to read it all, it's there, but really it's food. And that's, I think, what the most important part of it is that it's just food. And if I can just for a minute, I just want to show a picture. I don't know if you can see this, but that's all the different foods in the different products, the fruit, the vegetable, and the berry blend. And that's over 30 different fruits and vegetables that for me is I take them every day, still try to eat as healthy as I can, but even knowing what I know I don't get anywhere near the recommended amount. And so for me, it's just been a good way, and I feel good knowing that we have the research behind us.
Beautiful.
So big fan, Linda. I love Juice Plus. We're going to start incorporating it into Food Healing Oracle Deck World soon enough.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Thanks, Lainey.
Awesome, awesome. And did you maybe? I think you've kind of already covered this, Linda, but I just want to check back with you that Juice Plus. How does that? Is it a vitamin supplement? Would you really call it a vitamin supplement?
No, it's not a vitamin. Vitamins are isolated, fragmented nutrients that get pulled from different places. And Juice Plus is actually just the whole food. And they actually take not just the foods, we get them from our own fields. They are within 6 hours locked and done out of the field and processed. But they have, it's the powders, and they actually take the skins and the peels also, which there's a lot of nutrition in the peel of an orange, but you and I aren't eating that.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
A tractor. But it's just, it is just food, and it is not a vitamin. And I think that's another important thing to bring up about it.
Yeah,
thank you.
Very good. Yes, that's why it is a whole food supplement.
That's right.
Okay. And Jeffrey, could you give us some more examples of plant-based protocols in relationship to physical wellness? Oh, you're muted, Jeff.
Okay, there we go. It didn't click there. Sure, I'd be happy to. We talked about, I mentioned a little bit about physical wellness earlier, and it's really a combination of mental and physical. And I think that, the foods that we're eating are really important. And when we talk about, Lainey talked about organic, we're talking about organic, certified organic, beyond certified organic. But some of the examples of the foods that are important, and I know Vicky's on this and you're on this about probiotics, prebiotics, and phytobiotics. And these are elements. And I'll just talk about probiotics. They're microorganisms that are really intended to have health benefits when consumed and applied to the body. For example, yogurt, fermented foods, and dietary supplements, and even beauty products as well. We've got prebiotics, and these are compounds in foods that induce the growth of activity of microorganisms. So these are compounds that are feeding the microorganisms because the microorganisms need to be nourished. And the most common example is the gastrointestinal tract, where prebiotics can alter the composition of organisms in the gut microbiome. And then we've got phytobiotics, and phytobiotics can be, really defined as plant-derived product additives to feed in order to improve performance. And they originate from the leaves, the roots, and the tubers, fruits of herbs, so forth and so on. And one of the things that I wanted to mention here is that with our science-backed, clinically trialed, and plant-based protocols, with the science that's out there, there are specific strains of probiotics that address physical and mental well-being. For example, repairing the gut lining and also addressing stress. So for example, and this is a note for people who are looking at probiotics, and you see bottles out there saying 16 strains of probiotics. Well, there's a strain, and reading a probiotic, it's a microorganism with a genome, species, and strain. So there's 3 names associated with that. So for example, Lactobacillus rhamnosus R0011 reduces stress by lowering cortisol levels and improves GABA neurotransmitters. And then Bifidobacterium longum R1075 is an example that enhances calmness and decreasing anxiety. So these are probiotics and foods that are in our gut-brain axis fundamentals pack that we have, addressing the gut, addressing the brain, and addressing that vagus nerve, which is that massive highway that connects all of the systems as well as the organs to feed them properly. So that gives you just a high level. I could go on for hours. I'm not going to do that. So, but that's what our and I look at this as we want to feel, and I think this is has been developed through Laney, and I want to give kudos to Laney because I'm doing business as abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, and financially, and it's abundance of that optimum wellness feeling physically and mentally, and this is what we're all sharing with you people that are watching us live today and who are going to catch us on the replay. We want you to live really well.
Yes, that's really why we're all doing what we're doing. We're called here. This is our service. Yeah, great. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Now,
Thank
Vicki,
you.
I wanted to unmute Vicki, and I want to have you talk just a little bit about some other modalities that you know of that you seem to be effective in working in conjunction with medicinal foods.
Well, I start with working with food, of course, and some of the diseases, for instance, like IBS, is very difficult to work with because unlike diabetes, not all the people, not all the clients have the same issue and have to, remove, all of the same foods. So along with that, there's a lot of frustration and emotional distress in trying to get better. Okay, I'm there to help them with food and also, with chatting. Many of the times, half of the consult is just talking about the issues that they have in their life. I try to support them and encourage them. So I do a lot of that, and they know that I'm available for texting and email always. So I feel support is very, very important in what I do. That's one thing. But along with that, I recommend acupuncture. I have had acupuncture almost every week for the past 7 years, and I feel it really balances me. It helps with pain, inflammation. If I have clients with post-traumatic stress syndrome, and Dr. David is wonderful with that. Inflammation, he takes down inflammation with acupuncture. So that's the first thing. Then also we have a lot of clinicians in our clinic. Meditation helps with stress, yoga. We have theta healing, which really gets to the root of some of the issues that we have. Tapping. Somebody who's had a trauma might want to see Jenny, who does EFT tapping. So these are all the different things that I pull in to help the client. Massage, okay? So, it's important to look at the whole picture and when you're trying to help someone.
Yeah, definitely. And we have the ability amongst ourselves here in the Holistic Chamber,
Yes,
knowing others as well outside who may be able to help. And these are people who are qualified. It's just a professional organization, and it's been so helpful in my life, just knowing who is out there to be able to make those connections. And go ahead.
May I say one more thing, Jeffrey? The value and the importance of probiotics. All my clients, are on various probiotics, and I switch them. Okay, they might be on something for 1 month, I'll switch them the next month, so they get the whole picture. The whole benefit of all the different probiotics. But there's also one that Dr. David and I created. Okay, it was for weight loss. Okay, I read a lot of studies, did a lot of research on weight because I have clients with weight and diabetes. Diabetics mostly, have too much weight on them. So I researched this. I looked at fat mice and skinny mice and fat twins and skinny twins, and looked at the various probiotics, bacteria that they were using or that was in their microbiome. Okay, skinny people have a different microbiome than people that are overweight. So together we created a probiotic for weight loss and put it all together. We got a chemist, he made it for us, and we have it available at the clinic, and it's very, very effective. And what really, really gave me such joy is when I walked into the health store and I see on the shelf, Dr. Perlmutter has a weight loss probiotic with the same ingredients that we had put in ours, and this was like 6 months later. So it validated what we were doing to help people with weight loss.
Right.
So,
And
Vicki, I'll bring I'm a twin.
Okay. Yes, so I know that.
I'll bring my twin brother to Lotus Blossom.
Okay. All righty. Okay.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate all of this information that's being able to be exchanged here. I just want to do kind of a wrap up here with one story that is part of the connections that we were talking about. And sometimes you never know when you've planted a seed, when that will come back and how that will have affected some lives. And just this week, I was on a leadership team meeting with Jeff and Lainey and Cheryl Friedman and Tony Wingle. And Cheryl she had been doing a little research on Vicki because she was posting on the Facebook page, and she'd found out that Vicki was the founder of the Feingold Foundation that worked with kids with autism and other issues, and had worked on a good protocol with Dr. Feingold. And her son had been having her baby, I guess, had been having such troubles as a young child. He was still having seizures multiple times a day, for example. There were other things going on as well. He had digestive issues. And Kevin is now a healthy, young adult man out there working, loving, and giving in his own ways. He's a pampered food chef person now. So, and also has done some crossover with Lainey. Everything's a small world, but really, you made a difference. You may have, Vicki, by starting that. How many lives have been saved?
Right.
So
Right.
all of us who are working here, we never know. But it's so cool when you get a story like that 30 some odd years later.
Yeah.
Good grief.
It brings tears to my eyes, Deb, every time I hear something like that. And I do. It really changed food, um, the whole food thing for these children with learning issues. Even in the school that I founded back in 2012, most of the kids are on the autism spectrum. And diet is very, very effective for them. We see it every day.
Yeah.
So I'm still helping kids, from 40 years ago, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, did you want to say something?
Did I want to say something? I wanted to add to that because that's actually was my story, and we're talking about the same person, but now here he is all grown up. So
Yeah.
this child is now an adult who his mother was kind enough to buy his certification to come to our first, I think he came maybe our second or third session. And unbeknownst to us, he came a little kicking and screaming of like, oh, what is this food woo-woo-ness? And as it turns out, he completely embraced the wisdom teachings of food, how it helps you emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, maybe for himself, maybe for others. But it turns out that he also was extremely intuitive and took to the food knowledge like nobody's business. So out of 40 people who came through our program so far, he was our very first certified reader. Because there's a 2-day program with us, and then you have to continue and get some actual field practice doing these readings and understanding what you're doing. I know, Linda, you're certified. Jeff and Deb, you're almost there. And so he became our first person, not during COVID, out of work, and then he starts a website talking about, you mentioned blueberries before, right? Blueberries is our clarity card. He creates findingblueberries.com, and now he's doing readings and helping others. And not knowing that whole background with Vicki and what I've learned from him, he brings a whole lifetime of personal experience to his readings, which, like when I heard that story told the other day on the leadership team and how Vicki and how it all came together, my mind was like, wow, this is like full circle. That now he's utilizing
wonderful.
And so it's fantastic.
Yeah, so essentially Vicki started him out and Lainey's given him the next tool to boost.
Oh, these kids, these Feingold kids, Lainey, are really tuned into food from when they're very young, because that's what you're focusing on, food. And I'm not surprised that he's intuitive.
First one. So now he can say first in the world, certified reader.
And our children mostly are intuitive. They have special learning abilities or a specialness about them. It just warmed my heart to hear the story. He said the Feingold diet saved his life. And that was wonderful.
I had chills because I was in my mind telling the story going, and he's our first reader, our first certified reader.
That's wonderful.
Awesome.
We're all making big differences.
We are. So I'm going to go around to each one of you and ask you for any closing comments. And I know that we have some special offers for those people who are listening, and maybe for a few hours even after that. So let's start with Vicki. Let's start with you. What is your special offer to people, and any other final comments?
Well, anyone who would like a food consultation, I'm offering 50% off if you book it before November 1st. And the first one who books will get a free copy of our cookbook. It's not just a cookbook, is the title. Okay, and David and I are co-authors. It won't be out for a couple of months yet, but it will be published within 8 weeks or so. The other thing is, like I said, until November 1st, if you book a consult, I'll give you 50% off the consult. And I can be reached through the clinic, which is 239-277-1399. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to talk with you.
Okay, and I believe, Vicki, you're taking pre-orders for the It's Not Just a Cookbook.
Yes, yes. It's not just a cookbook. It's a very unique cookbook. I had several people read it, and it's for everybody. It's for vegans, vegetarians, carnivores. It's gluten free, but you can use wheat if you want. It's for everybody. So we wanted to do that, but we wanted it to be special. There's a lot of nutritional information in the descriptions of each recipe, and we talk about the phytochemicals that are in it and what diseases this food might be good for. A sweet potato has, 9 grams of protein, so that's very good for a vegan or a vegetarian. So it's good. It's a book to read, not just follow a recipe. We had a lot of fun doing it.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vicki. Great offer there too. A couple of great offers. Linda, any final comments and your special offer?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say, everybody, just do whatever you can in any way to get as many fruits and vegetables as you can into your body every single day. I just think that's the bottom. But our company has been doing for many, many years. They have what we call a family health study, and we have done over 1.5 million children that are participating in families. 20 years of great results. That's where we find that kids are doing well. So with that, if an adult orders the fruit, the vegetable, or the fruit, vegetable, and berry, a child can get the fruit and vegetable for free. And that is at any time. But from now till the end of the year, you can also get a package of our complete protein shake mix for only the shipping cost of $5. So that goes till the end of the year. It comes in vanilla and chocolate. Makes great smoothies, tastes great when you're adding your kale or spinach or anything else into it. It's a good way to get some extra nutrition in your body. And so if anybody wants to know how they can do that, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm sure we'll have our information available at the end. So thank you.
We will. And you know what? Because on the YouTube channel, for example, it won't have that. How might they reach out to you? Do you have an email that they could use?
I do have an email, but the easiest way would actually just be a phone call, 320-491-0485. But it's also linda.baltus@yahoo.com.
Very good. Thank you, Linda. Moving down to Lainey. Any final comments and special offer?
No, I have nothing to say. Just kidding. I have a few things. Joanne and I and Food Healing Oracle Deck, we do monthly education classes. There's so many layers unfolding, even well after the production of this incredible deck and the book that comes with it. There's so much we could say in there, but we had a lot more to say. And so those are coming out both in our certification classes and our monthly education on a variety of different topics. In fact, Cheryl Friedman, I see here, we're doing Conquering Your Cravings. I think you guys might want to mute if you can. We do a Conquering Your Cravings next month, and each month we have an education related to the deck. We want to offer any of those to you. In fact, anything that we have, our deck and any of our classes, and including the certification, we're going to give you 20% off of anything you'd like to purchase from us now through the end of the month. So in the next week, use the code HCC20, and you can use that towards any of our monthly classes, to any of the purchases of our deck, to our certification, which is in January. We have one in April as well. Everything is at foodhealingdeck.com. And Joanne and I are putting the finishing touches. We also have a book coming out. It's our smoothie book. And we're very, very happy with the way it's coming out, because it's a completely unique way of looking at your smoothies from an enlightened esoteric point of view. So we took all of our healing wisdom words that are associated from the Food Healing Oracle Deck, and we made a series of very enlightened smoothie recipes, both hot and cold. And they're everything to raise your chakras, release grief, to opening up your connection to the archangelic realm, to just fortifying your body with energy in life force. So each one of our recipes come with a channeled message. So when you're drinking the smoothie, you can really be invoking these messages. So it's called Nourishing Wisdom. It's our smoothie book, and it's Nourishing Wisdom Beyond the Blend. And we are taking pre-orders on that too. And you can also use your HCC20 code. So that should be coming out soon. Next spring, we have our second deck coming. We have another 60 fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices. But look at everything on our page, foodhealingdeck.com. From now until the end of the month, HCC20 is your code for anything that we have going on. It's all there, including our meditations. We have specific meditations attributed to our foods. So when you're pulling a card from our deck and you want to learn more about that intricate level of understanding, if you get a release card or acceptance or expansion, Linda's about to do our mango joy, and Deb's got some, of course, with chocolate coming up. So a lot of wonderful messaging coming on. They're only $1.99 on our site. Enjoy those meditations and channeled messages. They really are going to help you take in that energy of both that food and the healing wisdom word that's associated with it from our deck. So I hope to see you all, participating one way or the other. And thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Thank you, Lainey. Okay, and Mr. Jeff, final comments and special offer.
I'm going to do special offer first by final comments. So I invite those of you to who are interested to take a free mental wellness assessment. Take a look at your mental edge, because it starts in your gut, leading to stress, anxiety, depression, and more. This also comes with a free 60-minute discovery call, reviewing the results as well as the recommendations from your assessment, which normally is a $75 value that will come free. And for those that decide to move forward with the program and evaluate it, which is money back guarantee, the recommendations that are a result of the assessment, then you will get up to $200 worth of free product along with evaluating this, and you will get your preferred customer annual fee refunded to you after 3 months, which is well over $300 of free products. And then you'll also get accountability coaching for free, 15-minute accountability check-ins for the first 3 months. And my final comment is I encourage you, and I want to, first of all, before I say this, is I'm really blessed and humbled to be on this panel with these esteemed women here. And I seem to be the only the male in many of these conversations, but that's okay. But I encourage everyone to really keep your options open to getting information. And because there's so many people out there who are really sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then take this information, and because you will intuitively resonate with much of this information. That's the goal. We're hoping that you will intuitively resonate with this, and then you will make that decision, because I always encourage people, go with your gut feeling. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Wonderful panel. And as we sign off right now, I just want to mention again that Lotus Blossom Clinic has, through me, has been a sponsor for these. There's gosh, Lainey, you can help me with all of the different names, but we've certainly had Natural Awakenings as a sponsor. We've had Intuitive Wisdom as a sponsor. We've had the Heather Phillips with
Muscle Tuners International.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just want to thank Unity of Fort Myers at a time when we were still live. They were wonderful for allowing us to host there. And of course, we all went online afterwards as time, here, and it's worked out great. So it's a community effort, really, for all of us to come together and bring our respective talents and gifts and resources. Mm-hmm. And it's not over. We're all going to be together for the Holistic Chamber of Commerce Fair in April. That's going to be live. And there will be more panels, and we will all be there together. And it's going to be an extraordinary event where you can still get, and we will have a food panel there. We'll have a lot of knowledge and wisdom being shared on Sunday, April 18th. So mark your calendars if you're in the Fort Myers area.
Very good. Thank you for that. And you can find Lotus Blossom Clinic online, lotusblossomclinic.com. We have a number of events and classes every month. We have a health fair coming up on November 8th, which is going to be an outside event at the clinic. So you can look again online, lotusblossomclinic.com, to our Facebook events and find all that information, either of those locations. I am so delighted and just wrapping up this season, this year, this time together to say, eat well, be well, take those rainbows of food colors into your life each day. Say gratitude whenever you're ingesting something for your body temple. This is what we're here to do, to help you with that, to encourage you with that. Be well in your journey. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and everyone else can wave, and we'll say goodbye. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, everyone. Blessings. Thanks for being here today.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.